Chief Twit, Elon Musk, is not happy about the criticism that he's been facing thanks to his work with the Trump administration.
Oh no!
After calling out the GOP's big, beautiful bill, yes, for undermining the work of his so-called Department of Government Efficiency, which is neither a real department nor is it making government more efficient, which Trump tasked, of course, with firing thousands of workers from the federal government. The once special government employee and first buddy is now claiming that he and his task force are being unfairly maligned for the failings of other people. Oh, he told the Washington Post, also owned by fellow billionaire Jeff Bezos, says, DOGE is just becoming the whipping boy for everything. So, like, something bad would happen anywhere, and we would get blamed for it, even if we had nothing to do with it. No, that's actually not what happened. Hey, see, here's what happened. DOGE fired a bunch of people unlawfully, and then, since they're no longer properly staffed, okay, at these agencies, they fall apart. They can't do what they're supposed to do. For example, at the Social Security Administration, lawyers, statisticians, and other high-ranking agency officials had to be sent from the Baltimore headquarters to some of the regional offices. Why? Well, they had to replace the veterans claims processors that had either been fired or had taken the buyouts from the Trump administration as a result of course, the DOGE cuts. Unfortunately, most of the new arrivals didn't actually know how to do the job. I know, big surprise, right? Which led, of course, to longer wait times for disabled and elderly Americans who depend on these benefits, according to two people familiar with the situation. At the IRS, the internet ended up not working. It became very patchy. They would constantly disconnected from it. And that is since President Trump ordered the remote workers back to the overcrowded offices. And it got so bad that staffers had to resort to creating their own personal internet hotspots in order to do their job. Okay. Their computers were crashing. They're crashing everywhere. And this was at the height of tax processing season, according to two IRS officials that spoke to Reuters. Those are just two of the agencies that were affected by these cuts. Of course, you've got USAID, you've got many others that were hit even worse. Okay, and then, of course, I'm not even talking about the court cases where people were ordered back to work to then get fired. And no, not even on any of that. Okay, and that just makes the situation that much worse. Okay, and yet Musk is over here saying, oh, golly gee, you know, we had no idea that any of this would happen. How dare you blame me for it? It's not our fault. What? What? Really? No, not only that, but speaking about the, on the day that yet another one of his SpaceX launches ended with what you could only describe as a rapid, unscheduled disassembly, a fiery one at that, Musk expressed some dismay about how his role with DOGE has led to an intense backlash against his companies, specifically Tesla. Now, the boycotts in Europe of Tesla have led to, or at least contributed to, a sales crash of about 50%. Oops. Now, he told the Post, people were burning Teslas. Why would you do that? That's really uncool. Are you sure they weren't just lighting themselves on fire? I mean, I heard that they do have a tendency to do that. Those Teslas, you know, just spontaneous combustion. Okay, to be fair, though, no, spontaneous combustion doesn't happen often to electric vehicles. It actually happens less to electric vehicles than they do to gas-powered cars. In fact, there was actually a total of 60 fire-related Tesla incidents from 2013 through 2021. So generally, electric cars, when it comes to fires, are a little bit safer. That said, if there is a fire, it does end up lasting longer due to the construction of the battery. So, that said, wank panzers, swastikars, they're actually more likely to just fall apart than they are to catch on fire, to be fair. Okay. And you know what? I actually do agree. It's not cool to set them on fire because, well, that could hurt innocent people, right? Innocent bystanders. You don't want to do that. I mean, I'm just saying. Now, that said, he's not done crying. Oh, no. He said that his work with DOGE has proven to be more difficult than he anticipated. Aww. The old fashy has a sad. Great. Now, remember, he said, oh, it's going to be so easy for me to find waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. I mean, it is just loaded with it. Oh, my God. So easy. But it turns out, no, it's actually much more difficult if you were only looking at welfare. That's it. Understand that our welfare programs are some of the most intensely scrutinized programs like ever. Okay? Elon Musk is not the first person that looked at programs that were designed to help poor people and thought, oh man, that is so full of waste. Wow, it's got to be filled with waste, fraud, and abuse. In reality, it shows how they just hate the idea of money going to poor people at all. Look, this entire thing goes back even before Ronald Reagan and his welfare queen lie. And so, it's been a long time. Okay. Our welfare programs, again, our safety net is so shredded. It's essentially Swiss cheese. Okay. And by the way, Democrats have made these programs very, very tight with means testing. Okay. So it is very difficult not only to get on these programs, but also to actually do waste, fraud, and abuse. Just saying. Now, that said, if you're only looking there at welfare programs and you're not looking at oil subsidies or government contracts like with SpaceX or anything like that, you're not going to find much. You're really not. But he said this, quote, "The federal bureaucracy situation is much worse than I realized. I thought there were problems, but it sure is an uphill battle. Trying to improve things in D.C., to say the least." You know what? Ironically, I actually do agree with that statement. Wow. Yes, turns out it is an uphill battle. But that is because of people like you. And I'm not saying Musk specifically, although he is part of the problem. The big problem is the donors. They're armies of lobbyists. That's the real problem here. They are the ones that allow for the real waste, fraud, and abuse to happen. For example, the Pentagon. The Pentagon cannot pass an audit with their near $1 trillion budget. Okay? That's where a lot of this waste is. Planes that don't work. Okay? The boondoggle of that jet, I believe it's F-35. Okay? Then you have private military contractors that actually cost so much more, that cost us so much more than they would have to pay if they did things in-house, okay, with their own members. I mean, for example, in 2022 alone, the Defense Department spent over $400 billion on military contractors. That's nearly half of that year's budget, okay? That reliance on contractors often results in, of course, significantly higher costs, as contractors are frequently paid far more than the military personnel, even if they're doing the same jobs, okay? And look, it also has a lack of oversight. That means a lot of contracts go unchecked, unscrutinized. That leads to fraud, overbilling, and waste. Doge, where are you? Where are you? It also leads to conflicts of interest. And you're not going to be surprised to learn that many Pentagon officials end up moving directly into high-paying defense contractor jobs once they leave government service. You wouldn't be shocked at all. Okay, that is the waste, fraud, and abuse. And Musk completely ignored it. Why? Because guess what? He is a private contractor with government contracts. Of course. Now, that said, he criticized the big, beautiful bill, as I mentioned. And that big, beautiful bill is not big or beautiful. Okay. But that adds $150 billion in military spending that will, of course, go to the majority of it to defense contractors. So now, that, of course, big, beautiful bill was there mainly to cut taxes on the rich. Now, here's what he said about it. Quote, I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit. Again, most of that is from tax cuts. Not just decreases it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing, Musk said during an interview with CBS News. I think a bill can be big or it could be beautiful, but I don't know if it could be both. Well, let me tell you what, it is big, but it's a big waste. That's about it. All right. Speaking of big wastes, DOGE, total waste of time. They promised Musk $2 trillion in savings, right? Then, of course, oh, shoot. I guess I over promised. So now it's a $1 trillion. Yes, we could say $1 trillion. But as of now, that figure is far, far less. It's never going to get to $1 trillion. Okay. Right now, they're claiming to have found about $170 billion in savings, but even that is pretty questionable. Okay. Like, some of it is from contracts that were already complete or contracts that weren't even actually canceled. Okay. As I mentioned, of course, Trump's bill adds about $3.8 trillion to the deficit, according to the CBO. So, yeah. What's
Whoopsie.
that? Yeah, exactly. So much for that. Now, that said, he's not done. Musk says, well, even though I'm no longer a special government employee, I still plan to, allocate some of my time working with DOGE. Although he says, I'm not going to do the chainsaw so much as I'm going to try to improve their tech support. Oh, of course. Yeah, of course he is. Now, on Tuesday, he told Ars Technica, quote, I think I probably did spend a bit too much time on politics. No kidding. It's less than people would think, though, because the media is going to overrepresent any political stuff. Because political bones of contention get a lot of traction in the media. It's not like I left the companies. It was just relative time allocation that was probably a little too high on the government side, and I've reduced that significantly in recent weeks. Not significantly enough. But here's the thing. He doesn't have to do anything else, okay, because he already got his return on investment. That's it. His companies, they're no longer under investigation. He's going to get a massive tax cut if that bill passes. And, of course, he's already in line to get more government contracts, including the massively wasteful Golden Dome idea. And not only that, but he also has the personal information of many taxpayers and to do who knows what with. I don't know what he's going to do with it. So he's got everything that he wanted, except for one thing. And this is what gets his goat the most. He does not have the majority of people that are kissing his ass. No. Polls show him to be massively unpopular. And I think that is the one thing that he wants more than anything now. Okay? He wants people to like him. That's it. I mean, he wants the world to think of him not only as a genius, of course, but perhaps even a savior. All right? And remember, people like him have a deep desire to be involved in hero worship. And that's what's bothering him the most here. It's not about the money anymore. Okay, you get to a certain point and you stop thinking, you get to a certain point of being rich and you stop thinking about wealth. It stops being about the wealth and it starts being about the ego. Now, of course, the wealth helps with the ego, obviously, but still, it mainly becomes about, I want people to love me and to see me as the genius, the job-creating genius, savior of humanity. That's what Musk wants to be seen as, okay? And look, now he knows He knows how little the public actually likes him. And it makes him cry. It does. And of course, he goes and he whines to the Bezos-owned Washington Post, of all places, because, it's owned by another out-of-touch, pro-Trump, rich guy who likes to shoot rockets. So, not really a surprise that he's going there, and I guess other places, to sit there and whine about how nobody likes me. Sad day for you, sir. But you kind of earned it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.